All right. So we are live. Sanjeet sir.
Hello guys, welcome to another session. So today we are again here to discuss what has been happening in NLAT, which was a pretty new exam. So today I will introduce my panelists. So first is Amandeep Rajgotra, who's a graduate from Nalsar, Hyderabad, and we have Abhimanyu Rajpurohit sir, who's also a graduate of RJNUL, right? So I would start by telling you that
So that was an important thing that we have realized for so far. So we have to start by telling you what has been going up. So I'll share a screen with you so that you're aware about what is going on. First, I will take some intakes from Aman sir, and Abhimanyu sir. Abhimanyu sir, you also gave the paper today. What do you think? How was the paper?
Sanjeet sir, I gave the paper, but unfortunately, I was not able to, log in. So I faced a tech difficulty, and in a exam wherein the best law school of the country is conducting an exam, facing these tech difficulties was really shocking, and this shows you the level of infrastructure that we have in terms of conducting an online exam. If NLSIU Bangalore is struggling with the same, then you can rest assured कि यार बाकी सब exams कैसे हो रहे होंगे, right? So I faced this technical difficulty. There were a lot of students who faced this a similar problem. What we'll be doing is we'll be talking about them in a great detail. अभी थोड़ा सा आगे और बताएंगे आपको कि what all you should be doing. For starters, drop in a mail at NLS admissions at NLS जो official website है, जो official address है जहाँ से आपको login details दी गई हैं. तो मेक श्योर यू गो एंड जो भी आपके ग्रीवेंसेस हैं, इफ यू वर नॉट एबल टू गिव इट, राइट देम डाउन. आप लिख लीजिए और उनको भेज दीजिए. जैसा कि मुझे उन्होंने बोला, हेल्पलाइन पे आई वाज देयर फॉर गुड 45 मिनट्स, वेटिंग टाइम पे था. उसके बाद फाइनली उन्होंने मुझे इंक्लूड कर दिया. बट यस, आई वाज फेसिंग दिस टेक्निकल प्रॉब्लम. गाइस, प्लीज यहाँ पे लिखकर हमें बताइएगा, हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू फेस्ड टेक्निकल डिफिकल्टीज, हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू फेस सिमिलर टेक्निकल डिफिकल्टीज. कितने लोग हैं आप में से जिन्होंने ये डिफिकल्टी फेस करी है? प्लीज यहाँ पे बताइएगा. We'll also see
And
how many students were there.
Aman sir also gave the paper, Abhimanyu sir. So I
Right,
guess
right.
Aman sir, did you face any difficulties like Abhimanyu sir?
Okay, so good evening everyone. And before I start, I think Sanjeet sir ने मुझे और Abhimanyu sir को introduce किया और अपना introduction नहीं दिया है. So there are a lot of students, right, who are joining us today for the first time. So Sanjeet sir, who is the host, right, he himself, he's the youngest in our team, right, the youngest member of our law team at PRATHAM, and he is also NLU alumni, and he happens to be from NLU Bhopal, right? Is it called NLU Bhopal or is it called NLIU?
Sir, it's called NLIU Bhopal, sir.
NLIU Bhopal, right? So my bad, right? So guys, you have some, so you have people from Patiala, Hyderabad, and भोपाल. तो आज हम थोड़ी बात करेंगे मेरे साथ क्या हुआ. सो अभिमन्यु सर ऑलरेडी शेयर्ड कि उनके साथ क्या हुआ. मेरा एक्सपीरियंस भी बहुत अच्छा नहीं था. आई वाज एक्सपेक्टिंग इट टू बी वेरी स्मूथ, टू बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट. मुझे नहीं था कि शायद ऐसे इश्यूज आएंगे. बट आई ऑल्सो it almost took me half an hour, right, 30 minutes to just log in, right? So there was some issues with my ID, right? So my face was okay, the face was okay, but I think there was some issue with the ID and I had to wait. And I can imagine कि अगर ये बाकी लोगों के साथ भी हुआ है, I mean, you know, you're waiting for your exam to start. It is such an important exam for you, and there you see the tick going on, and they are still trying to identify you, right? So that's not a good feeling, and that's exactly what I was thinking when I was looking at the screen, that if a student who is appearing for his dream college, right, he is writing his one of his most important exam, and he has to go through all of this, and after that he has to write a 45-minute exam. I mean, so you know, we always say कि जब आपका exam start होता है, like, you know, you have to be very calm, composed. ये चीजें they do actually matter a lot, and I don't know कि इससे कितने लोगों को, एक जो बहुत बड़ी प्रॉब्लम जो अभिमन्यु सर ने बताई, संजीत सर, कि उनका तो एग्जाम ही नहीं हुआ, But I'm also saying that there are a lot of others who face a lot of technical issues. What about those issues, right? So unfortunately, there is no one in the group who happens to be from NLS Bangalore to at least defend NLS Bangalore today, right? But I don't think I think बहुत ज़्यादा कुछ होगा उसमें because there were a lot of technical issues and a lot of students have also shared this.
Yes, so as I see on the screen also, a lot of students have shared that they were not able to go to the next question, and they were not able to, like, they got 15 minutes less, or they got one question they were not able to attempt. So there were a lot of technical glitches, as we expected it to be, because it was a first timer thing that was going on there. So that was pretty much expected, but some people have said that they were not able to get their identifications cleared. So that was also a very big issue, and they rejected him for 5 to 6 times. Some people.
Yeah.
So that is also a very big issue.
I was, if I'm not wrong, I was rejected thrice, right? So I had to, use the 3 different IDs, right? And finally, but after I logged in, there weren't like any other issues, I would say, right? But logging in was a problem.
Okay. So as we all know that everyone has faced some issues. Some people had a very free flow of the exam, but some people have definitely faced issues. As we can see, like both the law mentors who have given the paper today, one was not even able to get into the paper. The other one faced like a 3 times scanning of his ID. So that is very stressful. Yes, I get your point, Bareen, that it is very stressful for a student to do that. So I guess now we can discuss the technical problems are there. So you can definitely report it to NLS and inform them about what you've gone through for this exam. So there might be like a policy that they might take out in the future where they will allow you to give it again or something else, right? So you might try your luck there if you were not able to give it today. So I guess. Sir, so today Abhimanyu sir was able to go to the 3rd shift and Aman sir went to the 2nd shift, but we still have the 1st shift with us. So we can discuss what was going on in the 1st shift, right? So as we see that, sir, there are a lot of questions that appeared and seems like they were obsessed with economics in like the first 4 passages out of 3 were from economics. So Aman sir, why do you think such emphasis on economics right now?
Well, Sanjeev sir, I guess slot 1, slot 2, and we will be looking at the slot 3 as well, or uske bhi we'll be sharing that. So बहुत ज़्यादा variation था. That was another thing which I noticed, right? Because I was also going through a lot of messages which I was getting from a lot of our students. जो कि slot 1 के बारे में बात कर रहे थे, and I was expecting something on these lines for slot 2, but slot 2 काफी अलग था. So slot 1 में जहाँ पे बहुत economics heavy था, right? Slot 2 में there were 2 passages, right? One was on COVID, and the other one also was somehow related to pandemic, right? So about how like women rulers are better, and it was a nice read. So I guess मुझे जो बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग चीज लगी वो ये थी कि slot 2 में, if you were in slot 2, the reading was okay. I mean,
right.
The passages were fine, they were nice, and it was a nice read. And that was the reason, like English was, I would say, easy for slot 2. So like, let me just, talk a bit about slot 2 first, right? Because I was praying for that. So I will talk about that, and then I will come to slot 1. So slot 2 mein, there were passages. Can you come to the slide for slot 2? Let's
yes, sir. Definitely, sir. I'll put that up for you. Okay. So yes, so this is for shift 2. So this was all the questions that came up, all the passages and their sources also. So you can, sir, you can also see that economic policy and health were like the basic 2 topics which were being focused, as sir was also telling. So sir, yes, you can go ahead. What were you explaining?
So I was sharing this that for slot 2, it was a nice, easy read. All the passages, right, were like that. So the students did not find, I don't think too many students had difficulty reading the passages as such, जो कि slot 1 में because eco heavy था तो शायद वहाँ पे वो issue आया. Slot 2 में right I think math was like very unexpected. Tough भी था, but unexpected भी बोलूँगा because like we were talking about the fact that it's a law entrance exam, so maybe like math would be a little on the easier side, not easier side, but will be doable. But that was a huge surprise for me. And I guess whatever NLSIU VC has been saying, and the committee has been saying that we will change the pattern to see that whether kids have interest towards law. I don't understand how asking such questions from the quant section, right?
Absolutely.
How they are able to gauge the interest of students, right? So I think we can always say I have nothing against math being asked in an entrance exam, right? But I think what was being told or what was being said by the CLAT committee also earlier, जिसमें LSVC was also a part of it, right? And they wanted to change the structure and they wanted to say that like we'll have math which is based on data and we will do this and that and math. तो बहुत सारा ज्ञान था, but आज का पेपर देख के Sandeep sir, honestly I was little surprised because you ask anyone, everyone was like कि math में calculations बहुत lengthy थी, right? And suddenly math for me was the most important section in a law entrance exam, right? So फिर से वही हुआ जो कि हम सब expect कर रहे थे कि शायद इस बार नहीं होगा. So I was a little, I felt like a little let down also कि जैसा paper हम expect कर रहे थे from analysts, I don't think the paper was on those lines. I was not expecting such easy passages also. I'll be honest here कि when I was reading the passages, I did not feel कि ये same level पे है. तो आई गेस स्लॉट 1 और स्लॉट 2 में जो मेजर डिफरेंस था वो ये भी था कि स्लॉट 2 के जो पैसेजेस थे दोज वर काइंड ऑफ इजी रीड्स एंड उसकी वजह से काफी सारे जो क्वेश्चंस थे, राइट? फॉर एग्जांपल इवन सीआर बेस्ड, राइट? जो कि एलआर जो कि इस पेपर के लिए व्हिच विल बी सीआर ओनली, राइट? लॉजिकल रीजनिंग वाज मोर लेस सीआर ओनली. I think वो भी काफी I would say there was like easy to moderate, not at all difficult, right? So I think that was slot 2 in short, and then we will keep
okay sir. So Abhimanyu sir, I want to take your views also on slot 2, then I have one view. After that I would put that up. So can you tell me what do you think about these passages and all the topics that they've chosen?
Sanjit sir, our passages are definitely on the expected lines. तो जैसा हमने डिस्कस किया था ऑन आवर स्ट्रैटेजी सेशन, वी सेड कि सोशियो इकोनॉमिक ऑफेंसेस के ऊपर यू कैन एक्सपेक्ट, एंड हियर यू गो. ठीक है, सारे के सारे वही हैं. वी हैव डिस्कस्ड दीस थिंग्स इन ग्रेट डिटेल. नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी के बारे में सब बच्चों को बताया हुआ है. कोविड वैक्सीन के बारे में वी हैव ऑलरेडी डिस्कस. तो दिस इज व्हाई out of all those 3 slots, this slot proved to be the easiest of them all, based on the student feedback. तो सबसे ज्यादा बच्चों को खुशी जो है वो इसी slot में हुई है. The difficulty level was easy. Why it was easy? Again, because they covered majority things. They already knew about these things because again it was on expected lines. Because economics का तो होना ही होना था सर, क्योंकि मैथ्स के क्वेश्चंस उनको यूज करने थे. तो मैथ्स के लिए इकोनॉमिक के आर्टिकल डालने ही थे. इट वाज रेस इप्सा लोकिटा, राइट? तो आई एम श्योर स्टूडेंट्स वर रियली हैप्पी with the entire theme of the passage, and I 100% agree with Aman sir. बिल्कुल सही है कि अगर मैथमेटिक्स का जो एक्चुअली जो उनको करना चाहिए था, things that the entire purpose of revamping the CLAT basically was to ensure that they do not ask questions which a student who's not practicing mathematics in their +2 could also appear and could also do it in a very in an easy manner rather, right? So that was a quite a shocker, but nevertheless, as you know, मतलब अगर वो नहीं आता था तो भी हमें क्या करना था, we've already discussed it. So you should have moved on. अगर वो time consume कर रहा था आपको आगे जाना था. And I'm very happy to know this that many students did the same. ठीक है, उन्होंने काफी ज्यादा वो skip किया वो maths का. Having said that, the difficulty level was same for everyone. So I'm pretty happy with slot 2. Slot 2 जो था वो डेफिनेटली आपका थोड़ा सा वहाँ पे स्कोर्स जो है थोड़ा सा आप एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हो, थोड़ा सा ज्यादा जाएगा.
Okay. Okay. So because as I have heard, like slot 2 was the moderate one, which was the most balanced slot, I guess, because it has almost everything that was required in the paper. But maths was on the tricky side in almost, I guess, all the papers. And as we all know that people who prepare for law also tend to hate maths sometimes, so it is also a very difficult thing for them to attend sometimes. So that is also there, that issue we have always seen with our students, that mathematics has always been an issue for so long. So I guess all these passages were most expected ones because they were the most bubbling issues around us for so long. So I guess this was the most expected set of passages that we could see in a paper right now, for law at least, I would say. But so all the breakups were almost every passage had two questions, as we all know, because they have declared them as a pattern. But as Aman sir told me also this, that there was a randomness in the question, sir. So can you explain, like elaborate on that one?
So I'm not really sure whether it was for whether it was same for everyone, but I had you know, questions like question number 1 was from the English part, but then question number 2 was from legal reasoning. And earlier we were expecting that, you know, like there'll be 2 questions on LA and 2 on quant, and right. So there was no set you know, like style for that. I also felt initially, right? So maybe I'm wrong here, but I also felt initially that for slot 2, the number of English comprehension questions was like was on the lower side. Maybe I'm wrong here, because I guess the paper was, or the passages were pretty easy, as I've been saying, right? So maybe I have missed that, and a lot of students were saying no, they were, I think, same, or like eight questions were there. But I had a feeling that English, I mean, there weren't too many questions. I mean, there was one question on you know, like one phrase was there which I can remember, and there was one question on subject verb, right? Encourage, encourages. There was one on that. So I also don't remember too many questions as such on English or from English comprehension part. Other than that, I think CR was there. It was there, and it was moderate. I mean, there were 2 or 3 questions which were tricky, right? But other than that, it was doable, provided you were not getting stuck with the calculations in the quant part, right? Agar aap wahan par, if you were getting stuck there, then obviously the whole section or the whole slot, right, was tough, right? And I also heard a lot of students. I don't know where they hear this, but they were saying that 3 passages could have been completed entirely, and the 4th one you could have attempted like that. So and I was of the opinion that maybe not 3, right? You could have attempted all 4 with less emphasis on math, right? I think that was the trick, right? If you could have, you know, attempted all 4 rather than just like attempting 3 like in entirety, and then, you know, like doing 4 or 5 questions from passage 4. So I don't know where they like that was coming from, but I think math was tricky. GK also, right? There were 2 or 3 questions which looked as if they are like straightforward, but they, like, for that also you had to apply a bit of logic for GK as well. So that was interesting. So yeah, if you can share.
So we can see that what tricky questions Aman sir is talking about. So you can, as we have always talked, like Abhimanyu sir, me, Aman sir have always said that ki aap tukka marne se acha take an intelligent guess. That might lead your like answer towards the right option. So as this question talks about the highest carbon dioxide emissions, so if you see that the most advanced countries are being the one which have been selected here, so USA, Australia and Canada was the right option here. So Abhimanyu sir, so what do you think? So GK, because they have asked the question from 2018, but we expect them to ask something from the current affairs. So what do you think that this question can like act as a googly for the students also?
Sir, yes and no. The reason for this ambiguous answer is that I have not gone through the passage myself. So
Right.
I just want to see whether the passage had this answer, you know, in it or not. So
Right.
hence, Aman sir,
No,
nahi tha.
I don't think so. It was a like kind of a GK question. It wasn't based on the passage as such. It wasn't
Right.
based on.
So, all right. So, in that particular case, the only option, the only thing that is left with you is to eliminate, as Sanjeet sir rightly said, right? Intelligently eliminating the options. तो वही है highest carbon dioxide emission per capita in the world they are asking. मतलब क्या है आपको consider करना है various factors including the population also, right? तो hence this is the answer. बाकी जो options है उसमें आप देख सकते हो. I'm sure आप लोगों ने कईयों ने यहाँ पे A mark किया होगा, right?
So a lot of people are saying that they had confusion between the option A and C. So that was like the basic two options that they always had a chance with, because India and China have a lot of pollution. So it was a very intelligent guess that some people would have taken, but the right answer is USA, Australia, and Canada. So as we see the next question also, it was the main legal instrument which was used for the international negotiations. So I guess, Abhimanyu sir, as we always have focused, Aman sir also sees that when we prepare legal compendiums and legal current affairs, we focus on the international organization. So do you think that would have helped students here?
Definitely, sir, definitely. And I'm sure, the students have definitely answered this correctly. ये भी मेरे को पूरा यकीन है, 100% sure हूँ मैं इसका भी. And I'm seeing the answers also यहाँ पे. Students are saying yes, they marked it correctly.
That's perfect. So, Aman sir, as if there is, like, I have heard, I am not sure about this, but there will be a option to challenge these answers also if someone thinks, right?
Yes. Right. So if a student feels that I think they'll be coming out with the answer key by
14th. They have said it's 14th that they will come out with their answer key, sir.
Okay, so maybe because of the court case, right? So earlier they were planning to give out the answer key much earlier. So yeah, so you have that option to challenge the answers once the answer key is out. So
perfect. So the people can note down the answer for this question was Convention on Biological Diversity. So you can go ahead and mark that answer for yourself. So if we see, there are a lot of questions that we have taken out from the paper. So you can see that there was one more question which was based on the organizational work, right? Which organization does what, right? So it was related to the Central Drug Standard Control Organization of India.
And so, this was a very, very interesting question. So अगर आपके नहीं भी आता था, you could have taken an educated guess here, because it is in the news and how we are dealing with the vaccination part. So वहाँ से थोड़ा ये idea हो रहा था कि C could have been the answer. At least I did not know this, so I marked C, but yeah, that was just based on a
So perfect. So whatever we have told you about the intelligent guess, it does work. You have to use your logic while you're solving any answer. So that is
Sanjeet sir, I am sure ये question किसी ने भी गलत नहीं किया होगा. I'm 100% sure about it.
I hope so, sir. I hope so that everyone has done this right. Like, people are saying that they have done it correct. So I can see the responses pretty quick. So that's there. So next is, this is NEP 2020. There's a new degree program which was taken out, which was for Ayush, which was Ayurvedic, Yadush, and USH. The whole full forms were there. So it is also something which comes after COVID-19, and it has been in news for a lot of time. So I guess this was also expected. So like, a lot of people are saying that they have made the right guess over this one also. So yes, sir. Aman sir, what do you think? Would you have been able to make an educated guess here if the students are not aware?
I think with Jiddu Krishnamurti was my confusion here.
Right.
So it was more about elimination. So maybe C was eliminated. I mean, Keshan Bharti, he the gentleman recently passed away 2 or 3 days back. He was in the news, and it was like everywhere that the man who saved the Indian Constitution is no more. I think that's what the newspapers were reading, right? So I think but I think this was a difficult one. Yeah.
Yes.
Difficult one.
So Abhimanyu sir, would you even rate it as a difficult one?
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Based on the response that I'm getting in the YouTube comments and by Aman sir, I'll say yes.
Right.
else I'd say moderate to difficult. Yes.
Modern, yeah.
Okay,
Moderate.
so basically what we are seeing is that GK questions were maintaining a quality, but there were intelligent guesses that could have been
Absolutely.
used here.
Well said.
So what we see is the next one, which was the women chairman of the Imperial Bank of India. I guess Abhimanyu sir have spoken about this
We've done this,
multiple
sir, in the
times.
classes. Students have
ये अगर कोई गलत करके आया ना तो उसको पकड़ लेना अभिमन्यु सर, मतलब ये
नहीं किया
सवाल
सर, सबने सही
गलत
किया है, ये सभी
Okay.
ने सही किया, लाइन से सबने सही किया.
Right. So this is perfect. So we have great amount of correct answers that as per the students that have been telling us for so long. So I guess now we can come to our shift one also,
Right.
because we were discussing that also. So shift one, we had almost all the passages from economics, and the last one was related to women's right in the property. So I would say that the section breakup was the same. There were no like changes in what they wanted to. Yes, there was randomness in the paper, as Aman sir also faced it in the second slot, but I guess it was more or less by far the same. So Abhimanyu, Aman sir, can you start by telling us what have you heard about shift one? What is your analysis over that?
Okay, so shift one again, passages were because eco heavy ज़्यादा थे, तो students like took more time to go through that, right? I guess math was again the Achilles heel or like whatever the pain, wherever you want to call it, right? So वो वापस से था, वो problem था, but I guess I think CR was doable, right? Again, I would say it was moderate, है ना, वो moderate था, but I think it was more about that reading part, and reading because a lot of students, right, they're not that apt at reading a passage which is based on economics, because there are a lot of other things also involved, right? There are numbers or forex reserves की बात हो रही थी, right? So the language is you know like a little different, I would say, right? तो वो हल्का सा जो मुझे सुनने में मिला कि you know like that took time. So as compared to slot 2, and that was the reason we wanted to start with slot 2, because I guess slot 2 was abhi tak ka, right? It was I mean, I would not say easiest of the all, but at least the passages were a nice read. They were easy to read, and then you know like you can take time. In fact, I would say in slot 2, Sangeeta, will again go back to slot 2, because I am now going to compare slot 2 to slot 1. Right. In slot 2, there were a lot of questions for which you need not even read the passage.
Okay.
So you could have saved a lot of time in slot 2, because काफी सारे क्वेश्चंस ऐसे थे जहां पे आपको पैसेज पूरा एग्जैक्टली पढ़ने की जरूरत नहीं थी, जो कि हमने इसके बारे में बात भी किया था, राइट? हमारा जो NLAT स्ट्रेटजी सेशन था, उसमें मैंने बात किया था दैट यू कैन सेव अ लिटिल टाइम, और स्लॉट 2 में एग्जैक्टली वो हो रहा था, बट स्लॉट 1 में वैसा ज्यादा नहीं था, राइट? सो आपको पढ़ना था, एंड देन इट वाज नॉट दैट इजी. So I guess that was my first impression of slot 1.
Okay.
The CR was moderate and con was on the.
बिल्कुल सर. और यहाँ पे इकोनॉमिक की जो बेसिकली जो पैसेजेस हैं, द प्रॉब्लम दैट द स्टूडेंट्स वुड बी फेसिंग हियर इज द हेडिंग ऑफ द टॉपिक. आप देख जैसे सकते हो कि फॉरेक्स रिजर्व की अगर हम बात करते हैं, तो स्टूडेंट्स those of who have been religiously studying all these passages, लगातार पढ़ाई कर रहे हैं, आर्टिकल्स पढ़ रहे हैं, उन लोगों के लिए तो डेफिनेट एज होगा ही. अदरवाइज जो जिन्होंने एकदम अचानक से पढ़ाई स्टार्ट करी है, तो उनके लिए ये वाले क्वेश्चंस, ये वाले पैसेजेस देखकर थोड़ा सा घबराहट आना, थोड़ा सा it was unexpected lines.
Right. So as my also analysis says that, because if you see an economic passage which is very word heavy, and secondly it's number heavy, so it takes a little time to process for the students in such a short span of time. So that was, I guess, the problem that we have faced, because the numbers that were being used were too huge to calculate for some of the students. Right. So that was the basic problem that was being faced, I guess, for so many students that I have talked to. So, sir, I would say that like the difficulty of questions that Aman sir has also stated right now, we can see that like mathematics was on the difficult part, except few of the questions were easy. But English and legal were considered to be on a very easier side here. And GK was moderate. It was not easy. It was moderate, because I guess Abhimanyu sir would elaborate on this more. That, sir, when we read a passage of this kind, so GK tends to get a little tricky. What do you think?
Again, yes and no. Yes, for those who are been constantly attending all the classes, who watched everything, who have actually done what was asked from them, right? If they've done it, I'm sure this was an easy task for them, because the sources shared to study those articles from were the same as encountered in the exam. तो वही है. तो अगर आपने पढ़ रखा है तो फिर आपको एक डेफिनेट एज मिलेगा ही मिलेगा. नहीं पढ़ रखा तो थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट लगेगा. बट हैविंग सेड दैट, जैसा अमन सर ने आपको याद होगा, आपको एनालिसिस में भी बताया था, बोला था कि पहले ये देखिएगा कि इज इट नेसेसरी टू गो एंड रीड द पैसेजेस, और यू कैन डू इट डायरेक्टली, राइट? तो अगर जैसे कुछ क्वेश्चन थे जिनको डायरेक्टली आंसर कर सकते थे, उसमें तो आई एम श्योर किसी ने कोई गड़बड़ करी नहीं है. एंड ओवरऑल जो जनरल अवेयरनेस की जो मुझे फीडबैक मिला है सर, यहाँ पे आई एम sharing this कि both in slot 2 and slot 1 the average marks that the students are saying कि हमें जितने मिलने चाहिए सर is 6 out of 8, 5 to 6 out of 8 they are saying कि इतने मिल जाएंगे हमें. तो hence you are perfectly written moderate, जो कि एकदम सही है, बिल्कुल करेक्ट है. एंड आई एम श्योर स्टूडेंट्स भी ये इस बात से तसव्वुर करते होंगे, अग्री कर रहे होंगे.
And in fact, Sanjeet sir, what was little surprising for me also was that legal, right, was on the easier side. So NLS Bangalore के अगर आप previous year papers देखें तो the kind of legal reasoning they are used to and they used to be known for that, right? So I'm sure like all of us have gone through previous year NLS SIU papers, right, जो कि बहुत important चीज मानी आती थी, and सबने वो legal reasoning की है. So I think उसके बाद maybe I think they did not have enough time to frame interesting legal reasoning questions. I think those were I mean आपको पैसेज पढ़ने की जरूरत नहीं थी, आपको सिर्फ जाना था नीचे, and it was like, okay, if you have the time you will get it correct. It was like that, right? So I think slot 2 also had only two interesting like legal reasoning problems. I think one was on Article 352, whether the president can impose emergency. I think if I'm not wrong, ek aisa tha. And the other, there was one more on the same topic. But other than that, I guess it was pretty straightforward, and I think that's what we have heard from students about slot 1 and slot 3 as well, that legal reasoning was on the easier side, provided you had managed the other questions well. अगर आपने वहां पे कुछ किया and then like you were under pressure, I think the exam, Sanisa, was just about that, right? How quickly you can just move on, right? Because one eye has to be on the watch. Like, it's just 45 minutes. You just get stuck anywhere and you're you will panic, and if you panic, you're gone, right? So I think that was the catch.
Absolutely, sir. So, on legal, sir, I'd also like to add one thing. Legal reasoning being the cutoff, and then again, जब बच्चे वापस से वो बोल रहे हैं कट ऑफ के साथ ही इजी लेवल पे आ रहा है ये, तो आई एम श्योर एवरीवन हैज मार्क्ड द आंसर्स करेक्टली. जो रीजनिंग बेस्ड क्वेश्चन थे, येस एंड नो क्वेश्चंस थे, संजीत सर. नाउ येस एंड नो क्वेश्चंस बेसिकली दीज आर बीइंग कंडक्टेड. स्टूडेंट्स को ये इनिशियल क्लासेस में ये कराए जाते हैं कि बेसिकली आप येस एंड नो के रीजनिंग ताकि समझ जाएं आप. तो आई एम श्योर दैट नो स्टूडेंट हैज डन एनी क्वेश्चन रॉन्ग. यहाँ पे जब हम लीगल की बात करते हैं, सभी ने झंडे गाड़े हैं यहाँ पे लीगल में, और जो फीडबैक आया है वो लीगल के लिए बहुत ही शानदार आया है. क्रिटिकल रीजनिंग की जब अगर सर बात करें तो थोड़ा सा वहां पे थोड़ा सा ट्रिकी चीजें हुई हैं, थोड़ा, क्योंकि इन्फ्रेंस बेस्ड क्वेश्चंस थे. यहाँ पे क्रिटिकल रीजनिंग सेक्शन देखे जो बच्चों ने जिस हिसाब से फीडबैक दिया, तो ये कह सकते हैं कि एनालिस्ट ने पेपर तैयार किया, ऐसा लग रहा है. क्यों अमन सर?
या बिल्कुल.
क्रिटिकल रीजनिंग में थोड़ा सा द लेवल वाज एब्सोल्युटली जैसा होना चाहिए. जीके भी मैं कहूंगा उसी लेवल पे था. लीगल थोड़ा सा, जैसा अमन सर ने कहा, मैं एग्री करूंगा, बिल्कुल वैसा ही था. थोड़ा सा हल्का था थोड़ा सा लीगल, जो उनसे एक्सपेक्टेड था उन लाइंस पे नहीं था.
Okay, so as we expected that if it's the tiebreaker, it has to be a little tricky, so that like some student gets an edge in that, but that was not true. And what we said during our discussion also, that mathematics is somewhere that lawyers wouldn't focus, but that seems to like it has turned around and it has gone to a very wrong direction here. So like it's out of expectation. Some sections were tend to behave that way. So I guess that is the way that competitive exams work. So we have a passage also that you can see that this were the kind of passages which were there in the shift 1. So you can also, sir, as Aman sir and Abhimanyu sir will also agree on this, that we can keep these passages also an important passages for our CLAT exam also, because the CLAT consortium would be seeing this. What do you think, Abhimanyu sir?
Absolutely sir, बिल्कुल. और बच्चों को बहुत अच्छा आइडिया भी मिल चुका है कि what are the kind of passages that they should expect and what are the kinds of questions that they should expect as well.
Right.
If not in legal, then at least in general awareness for sure, right? So these are the kind of questions that you would be expecting. और जैसा हमने बोला था कि परसेंटेजेस एवरेजेस पे थोड़ा सा फोकस रखिएगा, तो मैथ्स में भी वैसे ही क्वेश्चंस आए. तो डेफिनेटली क्लैट के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से भी दिस एग्जाम विल होल्ड अ ग्रेट इंपॉर्टेंस फॉर यू. Why? Because you have now given a sort of mock conducted by a part of CLAT only, a body of CLAT. तो एक आपको एक मूवी से पहले एक टीजर मिल गया है आपको, तो वो टीजर की तरह आप ट्रीट कर सकते हो इसको NLAT को. और अब आपके लिए रोड काफी आसान होने वाली है आगे जब तक हम जाएंगे तक.
Right. And Aman sir, what do you think? What should we learn from this exam? I guess time management would be the best essence that we can take.
Yes. I guess time management and also right that like you need to have a score also in your head, right? जब ये पैसेज आप देख रहे थे तो आपको ये भी देखना था कि क्या लेवल है एंड कितना अटेम्प्ट सही होगा, है ना? सो आई थिंक वो गॉज करना, राइट? एंड आई थिंक आई कीप सेइंग दिस कि कई बार हम उस पे लाइक अ लॉट ऑफ अस आर कंफ्यूज कि हाउ मेनी क्वेश्चंस शुड बी अटेम्प्ट, राइट? सो क्या इस पेपर में अगर आप मैथ के क्वेश्चंस को 2 या 3 को अगर आप नहीं अटेम्प्ट करते तो कितना फायदा हो रहा था उस चीज का? आई थिंक वो अगर आपको इससे वो क्लियर हो रहा है कि हाँ कि ये ऑल्दो लाइक वी वर सेइंग दैट you could have attempted 38 because उसका फायदा होने वाला है, but I think 35 का जो attempt था इस पेपर के लिए, I think that was a very good attempt. अगर आपने calculated वो लिए, right? आपने मतलब बिल्कुल आंसर्स सोचकर मार्क किए, तो I think 34 to 35 is a very good attempt.
Okay. So as we can see that the type of questions were also, you can see on the screen the GK that was appearing in the paper, and it was related to the schemes. So the first answer was Pahel that you can see here. If you have marked anything else, you can like challenge to NLS directly. But
Again,
that's
Sandeep
what
sir, I just like to add one thing. This was a very easy question. Through elimination, you could have easily done this. Eliminate करते आप options को और आपको ये आंसर मिल जाता.
Perfect. So like there were like NLS has kept this in mind, because when they were a part of CLAT consortium also, they've always said that we don't want a student to have a pre-knowledge of all these things, but still we can go in the paper and guess and answer the right thing if we have a little bit knowledge from here and there. So I guess the next question was related to the mathematics and the reasoning part that we've been seeing. So anyone who was thinking what's the answer of this question, it is B, which is 0.7 trillion to 0.8 trillion. And I guess, Aman sir, we have seen the same kind of question in the mock that NLS released?
Yeah.
Right. So I guess, so they have drawn it on the same line here. So you have to be prepared in the same manner if they were giving it in their mocks. So it was something very expected. So coming to the next question also, this was a author-based reasoning questions. So Aman sir, don't you think that we see that legal also in CLAT has author-based reasonings, and here they are also giving it in English also. So don't you think it will create a confusion in the students and how to deal with it?
Yeah, because
कंप्यूटराइज्ड ड्रॉ ऑफ लॉट्स, वही तो सर जो अपन ने बोला था कि थोड़ा किस्मत भी आपके साथ प्ले करेगी, रोल प्ले करेगी. ओवरऑल मार्क्स के साथ आपका थोड़ा किस्मत का भी प्ले आ जाएगा रोल.
So people should be aware of that if you get a draw in your legal aptitude marks, there would be a computerized draw of lots for your selection and you getting a seat. So Abhimanyu sir, didn't there used to be a factor of age also that used to be taken into consideration in CLAT?
Yes sir, it has been done away sir this year. हटा दिया गया है, मतलब NLAT ने तो हटा ही दिया है, CLAT में it's still there. NLAT में हटा दिया गया, उन्होंने उसकी जगह कर दिया गया है अगेन थर्ड है हमारा कंप्यूटराइज्ड ड्रॉ ऑफ लॉट्स. फर्स्ट इज योर लीगल अवेयरनेस, लीगल रीजनिंग में ज्यादा स्कोर. सेकंड इज योर ओवरऑल स्कोर इन द सेक्शन, मैक्सिमम करेक्ट आंसर्स. करेक्ट आंसर्स जितने हैं आपके, मतलब आपका स्कोर तो जो भी हो, करेक्ट आंसर ज्यादा किसके हैं वो देखा जाएगा. तो अगर करेक्ट आंसर्स भी सेम है, उसके बाद आपका आएगा कंप्यूटराइज्ड ड्रॉ ऑफ लॉट्स. सो एज सर संजीत सर, ये तो बड़ा ही वैसे देखा जाए तो ये एक्चुअली इट इज अ गुड मूव ओनली। एज के बेसिस पे इफ यू आर गिविंग समवन प्रायोरिटी,
That
ये
is
थोड़ा
wrong.
सा अनफेयर हो जाता है।
Yeah,
जी सर।
but I guess, sir, कि अगर they have kept two levels of breaking the tie, then I think so it will work. They wouldn't need to go to the third level because that's very rare, right, Aman sir?
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, I agree.
So, so I guess we have done with the shift one. So I would like Aman sir to tell the exact number of attempts that a person should take and what would be the expected cutoff for shift one, sir.
So shift one, I think because मैंने shift two या slot two को जो बोला कि 35 to 35, 34 to 35 was a good attempt. I think for slot one, I would say 32 to 33 was a गुड अटेम्प्ट, बिकॉज थोड़ा सा मुझे लगा कि शायद ज्यादा टाइम कंज्यूमिंग था पैसेजेस को पढ़ना। आई थिंक तो उसकी वजह से आई थिंक थोड़ा सा ऊपर नीचे डेफिनेटली हुआ होगा अटेम्प्ट, राइट? बट दीज आर व्हाट यू कॉल जो आपका क्लियर अटेम्प्ट था, राइट? आई एम श्योर इसके बाद लाइक यू नो अ लॉट ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स हैव आल्सो टेकन व्हाट यू कॉल इंटेलिजेंट गेसेस और वाइल्ड गेसेस भी बहुत सारे आए हैं, है ना? बट व्हाट आई एम सेइंग इज दैट दिस इज something which was achievable, right? So 32 to 34 for slot 1. So अगर आप इसको स्कोर में देख लेकर आए तो for slot 1 I think 55 का, because if we are saying कि अगर if 32 to 34 is a good attempt, then I think 53 to 55 to 56 would be I mean a good score, right? So and प्लस आई थिंक बहुत नया है ये पैटर्न, तो एग्जैक्ट ये बता पाना थोड़ा मुश्किल रहेगा। आई थिंक नॉट ओनली फॉर अस बट फॉर एवरीवन, राइट? बिकॉज आई थिंक देयर आर क्लोज टू 28,000 सीट्स और अभी भी हम बात कर रहे हैं कि फिर टाई ब्रेकर भी आएगा पिक्चर में। बट आई थिंक फॉर स्लॉट 1 इतना, एंड फॉर स्लॉट 2 आई थिंक मे बी 2-3 मार्क्स अप, राइट? सो मे बी 54 to 56 और मे बी 57, राइट? बिकॉज अभी जैसे से हमें बच्चों के जो फीडबैक आ रहे हैं, so I think slot 2 के लिए I think वो number थोड़ा ऊपर जा रहा है। How are they going to do the moderation part? That is yet to be seen, right? That is something we have no idea about कि कैसे वो moderation होगा। तो भी बहुत interesting होगा, है ना? कि तो online mock हुआ है, उसमें sorry exam है, technical issues आए, ये सब issues हैं। अभी एक issue बाकी है, वो ये भी है कि moderation का भी इशू है। एंड ये सब तब होगा अगर सुप्रीम कोर्ट फाइनली बोलेगा कि ये दे वांट टू गो अहेड विद दिस। बट या आई थिंक 52 to 55 I would say for slot 1, and maybe you know like slightly higher for slot 2 because I felt that the passages were like a little easier.
Okay.
Your thoughts?
Abhimanyu sir, what do you think? What is the cutoffs and attempts that you think?
Attempts for slot 1 I'll definitely agree with Aman sir as it is, मतलब copy paste CCP करेंगे हम यहाँ पे। बिल्कुल सही है सर का जो एनालिसिस है। 55 तक अगर आपका स्कोर आ रहा है स्लॉट 1 में तो डेफिनेटली मतलब इट्स अ गुड स्कोर। अगर स्लॉट 2 की वहीं पे मैं बात करता हूँ तो जो भी फीडबैक अभी तक जो मिला है उस हिसाब से आई विल से इट विल बी डेफिनेटली बी ऑन द हायर साइड। बट हैविंग सेड दैट यू डोंट हैव टू वरी कि अगर यार सर मैं तो स्लॉट 1 में था, मेरे नंबर कम आएंगे, स्लॉट 2 वालों के ज्यादा होंगे, तो होपफुली नहीं तो मैं तो कहूँगा ऑब्वियसली एनालिस बैंगलोर विल टेक दिस इनटू कंसिडरेशन। जब 3 स्लॉट्स में होता है तो आपका स्कोर जो है वो अलग तरीके से कैलकुलेट किया जाता है, तो दे विल टेक दैट इनटू कंसिडरेशन एज वेल। सो डोंट वरी, अगर आपने अपने स्लॉट में क्या परफॉर्म किया है दैट वुड बी ऑफ ग्रेट इंपॉर्टेंस। ये चीज है, तो आपको यू डोंट हैव टू वरी। स्लॉट 2 के लिए आई विल से अगेन इन द रेंज ऑफ 55 to 60 अगर आपने स्कोर किया है अच्छी बात है। 60 प्लस भी कुछ लोग हैं जो काफी कॉन्फिडेंट है 32-33 क्वेश्चंस को लेकर भी, राइट? तो अगर इफ दैट्स द केस इट्स वेरी गुड जॉब टू यू, वेल डन, एंड वी विल बी प्राउड वंस द रिजल्ट्स आर आउट, एंड इवन देन रिजल्ट्स आने से पहले भी वी आर ऑलरेडी प्राउड ऑफ द एफर्ट दैट यू पुट इन।
Right. Perfect. So I guess we have got the intelligent guesses that we have made here. I hope this drops till the level that we are telling people around. So I also agree that, sir, that a good attempt would be 32 to 35 questions that a person might do, because there is always a gamble of 5 to 6 questions that happens in the paper. So yeah, 50 to 58, I guess that would be the range I would draw it somewhere around. So I guess we'll go on the slot 3 also, as a lot of people here are very eager to see what's there. But Shift 3, we see that there are a lot of environment impact assessment. There were passages related to that. There was women empowerment. That is a very big issue I see, because slot 2 also had a passage on that. GDP, which is a very recent issue, as we have seen that online exams have that edge. What do you think, Aman sir? If there is an exam that's happening online, it can consider taking the very recent things
Very
that are
recent.
also happening.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल और वही था आई गेस कोविड सरप्राइजिंगली like law exam there were like so many things related to covid, right? So there was I think pandemic के ऊपर था, so in slot 2 it was about pandemic and like uh, women who are ruling, I mean, or who are in power. So it was about that how good or like how they are managing the show. और अगर आप यहाँ पे देखते हैं तो देयर इज पॉलिसी, राइट? वी वर टॉकिंग अबाउट दैट, राइट? जब हमने स्टडी सेशन भी किया कि पॉलिसी इज इंपॉर्टेंट, राइट? पॉलिसी मेकिंग बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होता जा रहा है, राइट? सो बट अगेन स्लॉट 3 अगेन went back to something where it was a little heavy, right? Reading wise it was maybe like we would request this, like we would request our students also to share their feedback also, right? For slot 3, slot कि उन्होंने कितना अटेम्प्ट किया, संजीव सर. So like let's ask them also what are their views on this, right? कि कितना अटेम्प्ट उन्होंने किया है, right? But I feel that slot 3 again was little heavy reading wise, है ना? तो उसकी वजह से वापस से तो slot 2 का जो एडवांटेज था वो शायद slot 3 में नहीं था. But yes, you are absolutely right that because online है तो like something which is like 3 days before or 4 days before, right? वो भी आया है और बहुत ज्यादा इकोनॉमिक्स हेवी था, राइट? इकोनॉमी के ऊपर काफी कुछ था, राइट? रादर देन like maybe it could have easily could have been like more of socio political issues, right? कुछ भी और हो सकता था, but there's a clear pattern here, right? That lawyers should understand all these like concepts really well, right? अगर वो जीडीपी की बात हो रही है या असेसमेंट की बात हो रही थी या like electric policy. Again, slot 2 also had something on electric vehicles and how the Delhi government is trying to impose or like bring a new law for that. Yeah, so I think, but definitely online में ये advantage तो है कि क्योंकि आपने एक online source देखा, all these sources were from the Hindu, this like scroll.in or
NDTV, Live Mint, they have used Hindustan Times. So basically, it's the very recent thing that they've put up, sir, I guess.
very recent, true.
Yes. So Abhimanyu sir, don't you think that from the first shift where they started, they kept it towards economic oriented exam? They wanted a lot of numbers there. But till shift 3 that they realized that no, we can make it like more mixed rather than just keep an economic.
True, sir. That's definitely the case. But overall, if you look at it, so these questions were socio-economic based, right? Exactly like Aman sir said. तो बिल्कुल वो है. And यहाँ पे अगर हम देखें सर जी सर, if we look at all the topics, if we look at environment impact, if we look at women empowerment, if we look at GDP and its impact during lockdown, etc., and also the stock markets in developing countries, we've discussed them at length in the classes. अगर मैं बात करूँ स्टॉक मार्केट इन डेवलपिंग कंट्रीज मतलब इंडिया की तो हमने बात करी है ठीक है. वी टॉक अबाउट सर्टेन एशियन कंट्रीज. तो आई एम श्योर दैट students have definitely were really happy with these 4 passages that they encountered in slot 3. slot 3 में भी जो feedback आया है संजीत सर लीगल का was we can say it was one of the easiest. Again slot 2 में भी काफी यही है feedback, 1 में भी यही है, 3 में भी ये है. 3 में तो कहते हैं सबसे easy. It was definitely one of the easiest अगर हम legal aptitude की बात करें, legal reasoning section की बात करें इन चारों में. तो ये है सर. अगर हम देखें यहाँ पे environment की बात करें तो environment थोड़ा सा इकोनॉमी से थोड़ा सा अलग थोड़ा चला जाता है. बट उसके अलावा आप देखो सारी जगह पे आपको बस वही है, बेसिकली मेजॉरिटी वही है. अगर आपके पास और जैसे संजीव से पहले आपने एक और क्वेश्चन पूछा था कि क्या इससे अपने लेक्सी क्या ले सकते हैं फॉर क्लैट, तो आप देख सकते हो दोस्तों आपके सामने ही है. अलग अलग टॉपिक्स हैं, वहां से आप कितनी सब चीजें हैं जो आप अपने वहां से आप अंडरस्टैंड कर सकते हो कि दीज आर द काइंड ऑफ पैसेजेस दैट यू विल बी एनकाउंटरिंग इन दी सब्सिक्वेंट एग्जाम्स, राइट? आपके क्लैट का जो एग्जाम है उसमें भी आप ऐसा ही एनकाउंटर करोगे. आई एम श्योर संजीत सर in slot 3 जनरल अवेयरनेस की चाहे हम बात कर लें, चाहे हम बात कर लें लीगल की, दोनों ही सेक्शंस जो थे वर मॉडरेट, मॉडरेट टू इजी, मैं कहूँगा इजी टू मॉडरेट रादर, ये कहूँगा। जब हम बात करते हैं सीआर की, तो वो थोड़ा सा इन्फ्रेंस बेस्ड था। वर्बल एबिलिटी में वही जो अमन सर कह रहे हैं, थोड़ा सा कंफ्यूजन था बच्चों को कि वर्बल एबिलिटी स्पेसिफिक क्वेश्चंस आ रहे हैं क्या, बिकॉज वर्बल एबिलिटी में भी रादर देन गिविंग ग्रामेटिकल क्वेश्चंस, ग्रामर के बारे में पूछने की बजाय इन्फ्रेंस बेस्ड क्वेश्चंस उनसे पूछे, तो विच आर मोर ऑफ क्रिटिकल इन नेचर, क्रिटिकल रीजनिंग नेचर के थे ज्यादातर क्वेश्चंस। क्वांट सर अगेन इट वाज क्वाइट डिफिकल्ट। अगर हम बात करें स्लॉट 3 की, क्वांट सेक्शन वाज वेरी डिफिकल्ट, क्वाइट डिफिकल्ट एज इन द स्लॉट 1 एंड स्लॉट 2। और बाकी तो वीए की तो हमने बात कर ही ली, तो इट वाज ऑलमोस्ट सेम एज क्रिटिकल रीजनिंग। तो स्लॉट 3 में भी मैं एक्सपेक्ट कर रहा हूँ सर गुड मार्क्स स्टूडेंट्स के, काफी सही मार्क्स एक्सपेक्ट कर रहा हूँ। स्लॉट 2 तो हम डिस्कस कर ही चुके हैं, तो इट वाज मोर सिमिलर टू स्लॉट 2 rather than slot 1.
Okay, so basically that is more or less like they've tried to balance the whole thing together for the students, so there is no difference in the marks that they get. Somewhere it's difficult, somewhere it's easy, right? So I guess I've got the right information. So the provisional answer key would be released by today itself, and you can challenge it for the next 24 hours. Yeah, and we will also be finding the answers. If we find some answers that can be challenged, we would be telling you that also, right? So you can use that factor and challenge those answers, but only 24 hours you will be allowed to challenge such questions, right? So as we see that, sir, people have given this paper, but as we can see on the screen, that the two big daddies are still left, right? I guess NLU Delhi and CLAT are the real exams that students are looking. NLS has been moved out of their CLAT preference list, but yes, there is, these two exams are there already. So, Abhimanyu sir, what would be your advice now? Ki what should the student do after such an experience in NLAT?
संजी सर, लर्न फ्रॉम इट, लर्न ट्रक लोड्स फ्रॉम इट। आपको पता चल गया है व्हाट आर द काइंड ऑफ क्वेश्चंस एंड पैराग्राफ्स जो आप यहाँ पे आप एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हो क्लैट पे। तो सोशियो इकोनॉमिक एंड सोशियो लीगल क्या था, क्योंकि बिकॉज उसी पैराग्राफ पे सारे क्वेश्चंस देने थे उनको, वो चीज क्लैट में नहीं होगी। क्लैट में थोड़ा अलग अलग पैसेजेस होंगे आपके पास सारे के सारे सेक्शंस के लिए। तो फिर यू शुड अंडरस्टैंड दिस की सोशियो लीगल इश्यूज, सोशियो इकोनॉमी इश्यूज, ये सारी जो इश्यूज जो भी हम डिस्कस कर रहे हैं, we've discussed, we've covered at length in our legal current affair classes, whatever we've discussed in the current affair classes, those will be of real importance for you. So make sure you develop this reading habit for your CLAT. I'm talking about CLAT की अगर हम बात करें तो आपको अभी भी टाइम है आपके पास, you can narrow down the topics. We'll also discuss it in our subsequent classes as well, but आपको क्या करना है, narrow down करना है टॉपिक्स को। ये टॉपिक्स तो ऐसे हैं जो कि मैं डेफिनेटली आई शुड गो एंड रीड अबाउट देम। तो ये तो डेफिनेटली एक लर्निंग तो संजीत सर क्लैट एस्पिरेंट्स के लिए तो ये होगी ही होगी। हैविंग सेड दैट, आज के दिन कुछ नहीं करना है, आज आपने बहुत बड़ा काम किया है, आपने एग्जाम दिया है एनलैट का, हालांकि 45 मिनट का ही था, बट आज के दिन मेरी तरफ से आप डेफिनेटली यू कैन टेक योर रेस्ट। एलेट के लिए गो क्रेजी, गो बर्सर्क, गो एंड सॉल्व ऑल द प्रीवियस ईयर पेपर्स स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम 2008 से लेकर अभी तक के सब कुछ एग्जॉस्ट कर लीजिए, if you've exhausted all the mocks already, right?
So Aman sir, what do you think? What would be your strategy next for the remaining two big law exams? And what technique a student can take up from NLAT and use in the mocks that they are solving for CLAT?
So पहली चीज तो यार आज का तो हो गया है, so don't think too much about it. आंसर की आएगा and we will get to know कि क्या हुआ है, so don't take it to heart. आपका एग्जाम अच्छा भी हुआ है, then also I'm like I should not be saying it, but यार जिसका एग्जाम अच्छा भी हुआ ना, we like and that's exactly what I was thinking, that एग्जाम का स्ट्रक्चर ऐसा है कि ये बता पाना बहुत मुश्किल है कि who will make it, right? So even if we say that 54 is a good score, 55 is a good score, a lot of students are saying that they have read somewhere that 55 is a very good score or 52 is a very good score, but we can't be sure that with the score of 52 you will make it, right? So trust me on this, because पेपर का कुछ स्ट्रक्चर ऐसा था, एंड देन दे आर गोना, जो हम बात कर रहे हैं, देन दे आर गोना लुक एट टाई ब्रेकर। तो ये सो आई थिंक वो होने वाला है। ठीक है, वन इज गॉन एटलीस्ट। द गुड पार्ट इज कि पहला मेजर लॉ एंट्रेंस एग्जाम हुआ है। मेरे को इस बात की बहुत खुशी है कि चलो एक से शुरुआत हो गई है हमारी कि एक एग्जाम हुआ। तो आई थिंक आई हैव बीन एडवाइजिंग दिस टू अ लॉट ऑफ माय स्टूडेंट्स की टेक अ ब्रेक नाउ, राइट? आप 2 दिन का, 1 दिन का डेफिनेटली ब्रेक ले सकते हैं। यू कैन एनालाइज व्हाट यू डिड टुडे। बहुत बहुत सारे लोगों ने ये रियलाइज किया होगा कि आज दे वर काइंड ऑफ बोलते हैं ना कि अंडर प्रेशर, अंडर द लेग, राइट? सो वो हुआ होगा, राइट? और यही हम बात करते हैं कि गिविंग अ मॉक इज आल्सो वेरी डिफरेंट फ्रॉम अपियरिंग इन द एक्चुअल एग्जाम, है ना? तो मॉक का मतलब ही वो होता है कि आप इसी के लिए यूज टू हो जाएं, बट स्टिल कुछ एक पार्ट अलग रह जाता है। तो आपको वो ध्यान में रखना है कि आज आपकी क्या लर्निंग्स रही है इससे, है ना? एंड एज अ सर वाज लाइक ही इज एप्ली वेरी एप्ली ही इज सेइंग कि आपको ये तो क्लियर होगा कि किस तरीके के पैसेज आने वाले हैं। ये तो बहुत क्लियर होता जा रहा है कि दिस इज हाउ और दिस इज व्हाट यू शुड बी एक्सपेक्टिंग। मैथ अगेन ऐसा होगा नहीं होगा, अब इस बारे में बात ही नहीं करेंगे क्योंकि हमने लास्ट टाइम जो सोचा वो तो नहीं हो पाया है, राइट अमीरू सर? राइट, तो होपिंग
बिल्कुल सर।
कि मैथ थोड़ा सा आई थिंक अलग होगा, बट आई थिंक इट वाज टू कैलकुलेशन हैवी। आई मीन आई डोंट अंडरस्टैंड कौन सा वकील जाकर इतनी हैवी कैलकुलेशन कर, एंड नॉट जस्ट अस, आई थिंक
सर आपको सर नोट गिनने के अलावा सर आपको मैथ्स की कहाँ जरूरत पड़ी सर लाइफ में? नो वे।
so I wish कि वो भी हो पाता, but all I'm saying is कि that is like the main reason, or that was the main reason why they came up with a new pattern and ये करना है वो करना है, and then it is back to square one, right? So that is one part of it. But yeah, बच्चों के लिए क्या है कि जो भी है आज का, right, let's just keep it here, right? And now focus on the next 2 exams. और यही हम बात कर रहे थे कि you get 2 more shots, right? पहले वो सिर्फ 2 shots थे, अब इधर आपको 3 shots मिल रहे हैं, right? So take a break, right? And थोड़ा fresh feel कीजिए and then get back. बहुत सारे मॉक्स दीजिए, और जो टाइम मैनेजमेंट की हम जो बार बार बात कर रहे हैं, राइट, और आपने रियलाइज भी किया होगा कितना इंपॉर्टेंट है। एंड वो क्या किया हुआ था कि कौन तो कर लेंगे, राइट, बट आज वाले ने एक झटका जो संजीत सर, अमीर सर क्या दिया कि भैया इसको थोड़ा सा वापस पकड़ना शुरू करो,
बिल्कुल, ये
यू
सीख
कैन
है।
नॉट टेक इट लाइटली। और आज के लाइक सो आई वाज टॉकिंग टू अ फ्यू स्टूडेंट्स जितनों ने मैथ को अटेम्प्ट अच्छे से किया है, राइट, एटलीस्ट वो लोग कॉन्फिडेंट हो सकते हैं कि they have a very good shot. I think मैं यही बोलूंगा कि people who were able to attempt out of 8, अगर किसी ने मैथ के 5 या 6 क्वेश्चन सही अटेम्प्ट किए हैं, then they have a very good shot, because बाकी जो सेक्शंस थे वो ऑलमोस्ट एट पार थे सबके लिए। मतलब उनका कुछ ज्यादा ऊपर नीचे नहीं हो रहा था, राइट? जीएस आप बोल सकते हैं एक दो सवाल, बट नॉट मच। तो अगर आपने मैथ को कर लिया था, यू विल हैव एन एज। और यही लर्निंग आई थिंक आपको लेकर आगे चलनी है कि डोंट थिंक कि मैथ के बिना भी इजीली हो जाएगा एंड ऑल ऑफ दैट। जो लोग अच्छा कर रहे हैं, they have to ensure they do it even better now, right? और जो लोग अभी बीच में हैं, devote more time to that, right? उनको प्रैक्टिस में ज्यादा टाइम लगाना चाहिए।
Right.
बिल्कुल सर।
So it's not a long wait, I guess, Abhimanyu sir. Today they have their limit for filing the challenges, and 14 they'll release their
Final.
answer key, and 15 they'll release their provisional list also. So within 3 days, everything would be done. So I guess, yes, Abhimanyu sir, you were saying
Sir,
something.
Sir, I really doubt this timeline would be duly followed given the amount of technical issues students have been facing in this particular exam. So I'm sure they'll be, if at all they conduct it real soon, if they conduct the exam tomorrow again, or they create another slot tomorrow or day after, then probably that could be a case. Otherwise, it would be really unfair. And already NLS Bangalore facing so many legal challenges, this
Right.
could also, this exam could definitely create a major issue for them, right? Because the conduction of the exam also could be easily challenged by, by
There are a lot of students on the forum, right? They have shared.
They will be readily available on call, right? So I would even provide you with some of the contact informations that you can keep for yourself. If you want to talk to a law mentor, or you want some information regarding the courses that are being provided, you can call on the number that is flashing on your screen right now. That is 9599980111. That is the number you may call on and ask about what all services are being provided for law and other things. And for regular updates on your law exam, which is for your CLAT, ALET, and which is absolutely free of cost, you can come up and join our Telegram channel, which is CLAT@PRATHAM. And this channel has been active for almost a year now, so you can find the whole news for a year and all the quizzes that have been live for so long. It is material which is available absolutely free. You can see it on your mobile phones on the go all the time, right? So I would say that we have discussed more or less everything. So any ending comments, Aman sir?
I think यही होगा कि now it's time for the next challenge.
Right.
That is ALET and CLAT. I guess this is done, and जिन लोगों ने बहुत अच्छा किया, like very good, great. जिनने शायद इतना अच्छा नहीं किया, उनके लिए भी there is still a hope, right? So वो आगे वाले जो exams हैं, they like get back and like start working for the next 2 exams now.
Perfect. Abhimanyu sir, some last words before going.
Sir, I am sure students have given their best. जो भी उनकी ability थी उसके हिसाब से they performed their best. Now what I'll say is to completely forget about the results. If you make it through, very good, amazing. If not, never mind. Okay, you have 2 great shots at national universities. You have ALET and you have CLAT, which you've been already preparing for so long. This was like a bonus. ठीक है, अगर bonus मिल गया तो ठीक है, नहीं मिला तो भी कोई बात नहीं. तो वही है, तो treat it like that. Dedicate entire preparation, entire efforts. Don't wait for your results and then based on your results you start preparing for ALET and CLAT. Don't do that.
Right.
You should immediately, once you take a rest for a day or two, and after that you go berserk for your ALET and CLAT preparation.
For doing any of these sort of things. So I guess this is it. So thanks for attending the session. Thank you and Abhimanyu sir for such great insight. I guess to discuss by far everything that was required. So I will take a leave. Thank you all. If you have any queries, any doubts, you can call us on the number or you can just drop us a text on our Telegram channel. We would be replying you back as soon as possible, right? So stay in touch and for any information, please do call us. Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks a lot, sir.
All right. Thank you, Sanjeet sir. Thank you, Aman sir. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone watching us.